It's Radio Skid Row 88.9, and you're listening to Good Smoke. What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Good Smoke, eh?
That's it.
Eddie,
Let's get into it.
Brenno, Eddie, what's happening?
It's me, yeah.
It's you again, another week on the show.
That's
We're
it.
killing it. It's 5 weeks in.
No, actually 6, I think.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because the first week was just me and you.
Yeah, that's right.
Jamming through.
And let's get into the information.
Let's do it.
9550-9552 if you want to join in the conversation. If you have a song request, if you have anything to say, call that number. We'll answer the phone and we'll talk to you. Also, radioskidrow.org and goodsmoke.com.au.
And you can check it out online on internet radio via TuneIn, or if you just go to radioskidrow.org, there's a little toggle or media player up there. You just press play and you can hear it live. That's for all those people that, you might have a bit of reception, you can't hear it too clearly. We're working on that, but make sure, just go online and you can hear it. You can hear it off your phone, off your laptop, whatever.
Or if you're overseas as well and you can't have our dial here. So
if
you can
100%.
just jump on there,
100%.
Yeah. So anyway, today I'm excited, man, because this is for me it's a big thing for you.
It is
maybe,
always
you know?
exciting.
I'm excited for this because I've been watching this guy for a little bit now, and for me he's got a big heart, and for me he's a big inspiration, just seeing what you do, actually helped me do this and keep me going too. You've got a lot of words of inspiration just watching your videos,
Mm-hmm.
Today we have Rick Herrera from S.W.A.G family.
S.W.A.G Family Sydney.
What's up, Rick? How you doing?
How are you guys?
And we also got a sidekick with you too.
Yeah.
Celeste, what's going on?
Hi there, guys.
How you doing?
So you're hearing throughout during the conversation we have here. A lot of people come in, they're a bit shy, but he's willing to jump on. He's all right, man. Some other people came in, they're like, I don't know, but good on you, man. Thanks for coming. Let's start off, man. Where I first seen you was I was on Facebook, man, and I was just looking up what's happening in the city because a lot of construction happening. I was wondering, there's a lot of poor people coming or homeless people going on the street as well while this construction's happening. How is this happening, and what's going on out there to help it? Is the government doing anything? Stuff like that. Then I found you, so I just want to get into what is S.W.A.G family and what do you do?
Okay, well, to sum it up, we find a need and we fill it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. S.W.A.G family stands for Salvation with Almighty God. Family originally was ministry, but after about 4 years out there, we did one of our big concerts at the Carols for the Homeless. And with the homeless fellas, the rough sleepers came up and they said, this is our family.
Nice.
So we thought, rather than have it like S.W.A.G Ministries as sort of putting, I guess, a religious term to it, we turned around and thought, we are a family, and we are a body, So, so the whole purpose of what we do out there, I can touch it up on a few things. I myself have experienced homelessness over 3 times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, me and my brother were homeless for years. We used to have to do like a hot dog stand at night to try to get money down at the city. So we're always around the city, We're talking about 14, 15, 16, right?
Yeah. Wow.
And we'd go around pushing this little cart around. And, when we were in the States, my mum and that, we had trouble trying to get a place. And I remember sleeping in the car with her for weeks on. And we found a little attic conversion, and that was our home for a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the Bronx, New Jersey, Patterson. So then we came over here.
How old were you when you were there?
Oh, look, I was about 8, 9.
Wow. Okay.
8, 9, and my brother was 12. And I think seeing the other side of life, okay, because I had a family that was quite wealthy on one side of the world, and we were on the poverty side of the world, right? So I guess I'm blessed. I'm blessed without even realising I was blessed. I guess, when you're a kid, you don't have much. So you make the best of what you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I used to sit there and think, why haven't I got this? This kid's got the best remote control car. He's got a new push bike and that. But I found other things to do. And unfortunately, as I got older, I broke the law a few times. And it sort of led that way, But when we hit the streets again, what happened? I had a building company. I had a very successful building company, and I just finished. We had an estate, we had property, and investment gone wrong. like anything, I was trying to set up my family. And unfortunately, things happened along the way, and I ended up finding myself in such a bad financial position. But at the same time, my third child, my boy Benjamin, was on the way.
Okay.
So we had, and this.
How old were the other two kids at this point?
Like I've got a 21-year-old boy. I've got a 20-year-old girl who just recently had a baby and made me a granddad.
Congratulations.
And the coolest granddad, let me say. Good granddad.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I've got Benjamin, who's 10, and Orlando, who's 7.
Nice.
But I want to go back to where, because everything changed for me with Benjamin. My whole walk, my whole journey, my whole vision. All my life I've worked on the streets with kids. I ran youth programs. I ran touch football, things on a Sunday morning where I'd get kids together. Couldn't get kids to come to church, right? Yeah. And I used to think to myself, why don't we make it fun for a man? Like, why don't we give them somewhere where they can feel safe and still, just because they don't want to come to church doesn't mean we can't work with them. Yeah. So we set up a barbecue in the middle of a field in the Housing Commission area down at Minto or Macquarie Fields. Yeah. And bang, get a football and kids would just come out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's something about food that, and I'm not saying that like for empty bellies, for any belly, you know what I mean? Like food and people coming together allows to break so many barriers.
There's so much that we have in common that we don't really look at. We spend more time looking at what we don't have in common. And the one thing we all know, we all hurt, we all love, we all cry, we all get hungry. And we all get sick. Now, my boy, 10 years ago, at the breaking point of my building company, everything started falling. My 10-year-old was diagnosed with a rare disease. And they told me that he wouldn't live past 3 years old. So you imagine this, you've got a 10-year gap between your kids. I wouldn't leave the hospital side. And my little Benjamin, they're telling me, isn't going to make it. So it was the most challenging time of my life. Do I try to save the business, or do I spend as much time as I can with my little one? Well, I made the choice. And in that time, God did something amazing. Because when the doctors told me that he wouldn't make it, the physicians said he wouldn't make it, pediatricians said that there's no way he was going to make it, God had other plans. And I remember just crying out, said, I'll do whatever it takes if you just take this away from him. And shortly after about 6-7 months of, what happened every 3 hours, we'd have to turn the clock on to make sure he wouldn't go into a deep sleep, because if he slept for more than 3 hours, he could go into a coma. So it was a pretty tormenting time for us as a family.
High-strung situations that you're always in,
So when people say, you don't know what it's like to do it tough, let me tell you, I know what it's like to have nothing on the table. I know what it's like to sit there and sacrifice whatever you have to make sure that child's okay. And it got to the point where our miracle came. But when that miracle came, we just lost everything that we built, everything that I'd worked so many years for. And we couldn't even get a rental property. So you imagine, we couldn't get a rental property, spent all my life out there helping people wherever I could, regardless whether I was wealthy or not wealthy. I never stopped giving.
Your generosity wasn't based on what you had.
It was just, that's the way God placed me. This is the way I am. But in saying that, that was the beginning, it was a birthing, I guess, of what God had planned for me. And when we first got into our rental property, it was the first rental property we'd had since we'd come out of owning our own place. And it was about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and I remember sitting down praying, and I heard like something just calling me out to the street, just like go out and get them, go out and get them. And my wife at the time said to me, look how cold it is. Look how cold it is, and we've got a heater, we've got this, we've got blankets. These poor fellas on the street, And we just came out of motels and that. So you understand we've been shuffling with kids and newborn motels. So at that time you start to feel like, man, you know, I know what it's like to have nobody there to pick you up.
Feel defeated.
You feel like, and you know, as a man, let me tell you something. As a man, we are told to suck it up. As men, we're told, you know, that we have to be the rock. But when everything caves around you, failure sets in. And it's pretty hard for most men to actually move forward when failure sets in. So when we hit the city, I couldn't believe we'd rocked into the city and started driving around. And I've always been like one to go out, and my eyes were always drawn to the broken, the lost, the people that were sort of not so popular. I'd always see somebody sitting on their own and want to sort of converse with them. But when I drove around the city this night, I remember it was about 11 o'clock. I had my wife, the 2 kids and the baby, and my newborn, Orlando, was in the stomach, you know, like, and
in the oven.
In the oven, he was baking. He was baking, and we just drove around, and we drove around the whole city. I'm talking about every single spot that you could imagine. I went for walks in the subways, the parks, all the way from Wentworth Park, Woolloomooloo, and all I could see was how many lost and broken souls were out there. These people were someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's father, someone's mother. And I thought to myself, how did they get to this? But first I thought, how can I help them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I rocked up and we didn't have much. I'd made a pot of pasta thinking I was going to feed a few people. And this is where my miracle came, because I'd rocked up in the middle of Martin Place and I didn't know what I was going to do, right? So I turned around, I set up a table and I put the pasta, and next minute I look up and there's 100 people in my line.
Wow.
All I could see was like 6 or 7 people. Yeah. And next minute there's like nearly 100 people in the line.
Come out of the woodworks.
And I thought to myself, how am I going to feed them? I haven't got enough food.
Yeah.
So I turned around and I just said, oh, look, you know, let me see what I can do. And I walked away from the table and I looked at my wife at that time and I said, look, you know, I'm not sure what we're going to do from here. And within an hour, Fox Studios were doing this massive banquet down at the studio. They rocked up with this van and said, look, we've got all this food. Can you use it?
Just out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. Didn't even know I was going to be there.
Shouts out to Fox Studios and feeding the homeless.
But how? Like what? What was the encounter?
They drove up and they said, could you use any
of this? Because they saw you feeding some people, thinking, okay, wait a sec.
And they said, look, we've got all these fresh rolls, sandwiches, this. And I said, oh, how much food you got? You know, and they opened the van. I went, we'll take it.
Yeah.
I said, we'll take it. Yeah. And I had this. And so what happened, I started with a little table. Then all the homeless started bringing milk crates. And we set up another little bench on the side so we could put all this food.
So from, I don't know, I know a little bit of the story after this, but we'll get into it. But it seems like from the jump, you weren't alone, for one. Like it seems like it's a body, like it's from your family outside to you believing that, like, okay, God, you got this or something, but also to the fact that the homeless guys helped out. Like, you know what I mean? They were part of the groundbreaking building. You know, like
you know, it's funny. People don't realise these people, they just assume that they just want a handout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People, the assumption. You see somebody sitting down like that, you think, oh, why don't you go get a job? Yeah, the first thing I get from people, why don't they just get a job? Or, you know, what? I'm going to just give you a little insight, just so I understand, to be a bit more open when you see somebody that's reaching out for help, okay? Nearly 60% of Sydney's homeless have gone through the foster care system. Now, let me just explain that to you. That means they start off rejected from mum and dad. They move to one family, possibly rejected by that family, possibly 3 or 4 families along the way, to the point where they get to an age where they feel worthless. Are you trying to tell somebody that doesn't feel accepted, somebody that feels rejected, to go out and make it? It's nearly impossible to get them to believe in themselves.
Yeah, because I just picture there's like the employment rate in society isn't only the homeless people. So there's a bunch of people that got it together, got a family, whatever, and can't work it out. So how do I expect someone that is in the depths, to just get out?
That's exactly right. If you got mum and dad and you find that you're studying and you're still trying to get a job, or you don't feel confident enough for the job you're doing, or whatever, but to be able to get out there and say, these guys, look, we're dealing with mental health.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, we're dealing with mental health. And when you ask the question about, like what is the government or what the city doing about it, let me tell you what they're doing. They cut $500 million from mental health. They cut $500 million from housing. They closed nearly every decent hostel or men's shelter or refuge there was, and they allow these other ones to function that aren't actually doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, that have just become a money trap, like where money has to end up somewhere.
For me, I tell people, if you've been given a position of trust and you've been given something to do, do it well.
Yeah.
Do it well. Do it the best you can, because you're accountable to the people that are helping you. You're accountable to the people you're trying to help. But more than anything, you're accountable to yourself. Yeah? If you turn around and use... poverty has been the biggest business nearly on the planet.
For a long time.
People have used poverty, people's misfortunes to gain. And when you look at it, you can see it clear as day. I go in the city every single night. Now, we don't get any government funding. We're lucky to get any funding as we go, right?
Yeah.
I pick up anyone that I can that I see hurt, especially the elderly. I take them to a motel. So I go in the city. Not only do we put dinners and community dinners, but if I see somebody in need, I'll actually take them to a motel, clean them up, show them, and I get credit for them. What that means is I end up having to pay the bill later on, right? But I can't leave them there.
Yeah.
So, you see, we've been running for 8 years. We have taken thousands of people off the streets for a night, a day, a week, families. When I went out, I thought it was going to be just homeless that we dealt with. That's what my
perception was, yeah.
And then there were families struggling. There were families living in cars. There were people trying to pay their bills that couldn't get through. So there's so much to talk about. We can't just paint one picture. The way I look at it, if we do nothing, nothing will ever change. And one person at a time. It doesn't matter. I never intended on reaching thousands of people.
Yeah.
I never pretended, honestly, of making millions of meals. And I used to cook all the meals at one stage. So now we've got amazing volunteers that bring food.
Yeah, just to give an idea for people, like to date, so you guys have been running for how long, would you say?
We've been 8 years.
8 years. So to date, they've served over, and this is, I'm pretty sure as updates, as websites always need to be updated. I'm not sure when this was updated last, so I'm guessing it's more than this. So to date, they've served 400,000 meals, 1/2 ton of chicken soup, over 20,000 sandwiches, 1/2 ton of fruit and veg, 160 kilos of coffee, thousands of on-the-go food snack packs, 1,600 litres of milk, 30,000 bread rolls, thousands of eggs, 120,000 drinks. They've given away 350 sleeping bags and provided 500 blankets. And they've also housed many homeless in long-term and short-term along the way. Like, that's incredible.
Well, that's amazing, but that was the first year that we started.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I guarantee it's a lot more.
It's funny, we got another website that's getting built at the moment, right? Yeah. Because I couldn't find the guy that set that up for me. Right?
It happens.
No, really.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's funny because I look at it and I thought, gee, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But in the last 3 weeks, we've given out over 3,500 sleeping bags.
Okay, so I can't. Doesn't even. Okay. So scratch all those numbers you just heard.
We have made, in the last 8 years, millions of meals. We have given out nearly, honestly, in excess of 50,000 plus snack packs. My van is constantly full with brand new clothing, beanies, socks, deodorant, toiletries, whatever it takes to accommodate the streets. If you watch any of the videos, at any time, any play, you'll see taken out
something
to families. We go all the way from Port Kembla, all the way down to Orange, Tamworth. We've got people that, like we've got S.W.A.G Regional with Sister Eunice, and this amazing lady, 28 years ago, she took me in off the streets for about, I think it was maybe three months, roughly. And I didn't even know this lady. She was married. She had 2 little kids, but she found out that I was sleeping around Macquarie Fields area, sort of lurking. So she opened her house to me.
Wow.
Now, 28 years ago, this lady doesn't even know me, doesn't know what I'm a serial killer, doesn't know what I'm a drug dealer, doesn't know what I'm a...
And I'm just picturing, you don't look like at that time, if you're sleeping around, you probably don't look like the most approachable cat.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like for a mother of 2.
So she turns around, and believe me, Sister Eunice is a bit of a hard case.
Shouts out to Sister Eunice.
She's the next bikie girl. So she turned around, and if you had said something wrong back then, you would have copped it. So I remember she said, there's a lounge, food. She cooked. If you want to make something, go and make it, whatever. But that simple act of kindness stayed with me for life. She became a long life friend. When I got in a better place, I want to look out, I want to help her, I want to help the family. Her kids are like my nephew and nieces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even through their storms, their trials, she's still with me today. She runs all the regional sections. She goes, takes food out all the way down Central Coast.
Isn't it incredible the bond that can be made from helping someone out, like the longevity of friendship, or like? But even what gets me excited is to think that she didn't know what she was starting.
That's what I'm saying. This is where it goes back. You see, she sowed a seed into me. And probably never expected that seed to branch out to be something so big. And this is why I tell people, seed never dies. You see, she impacted this life. She was taking a few people. When I moved in there, I remember she had like a heroin addict sleeping in the caravan and this and that. I was like, well, you got this guy here. The first thing I said was, well, you got this druggie here. She goes, everyone needs to be showed love. I just looked over and said, this guy needs a beating. This is what I said. I'm like, I come from the street. So to me, it's like, I don't want to be sharing a place with this fella.
Yeah.
First thing I thought. Mate, little to know, that guy ended up being an amazing man. Went around and started riding bikes, like motorbikes. Yeah. Every Christmas he goes, takes gifts out to little areas and for the kids. You don't realise that little bit she didn't give up on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I would have given up on him at that time. I wouldn't have taken the time of day for him.
Yeah.
Because I just thought to myself, man, I don't want to be surrounded by this. But you see, something had to change in me as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that allow you to understand things differently? Like, so for instance, a lot of people would think, that allows you to understand the broken person that's homeless. But I think it would also allow you to understand that arrogant person that doesn't understand the homeless person.
100%. Listen, I was always under the impression that growing up, even though I give to whoever needed it, I thought, okay, we're in a good country. You can get the dole. You can get we've got
unemployment, whatever,
all that stuff. I mean, really shouldn't be on the streets, right? This is my assumption back then. Until I was running a building site at Surrey Hills, and there was a homeless guy about 64 years old that was sleeping on the chair. I remember going up to him and I said, buddy, his name was Rick. Ironically, his name was Rick, so I couldn't forget it. I'll never forget the makeover we gave this guy anyway. Long story short, approached him, didn't want the help, didn't want any money. I said, listen, if you come to my job site, every day I'll give you breakfast, lunch and dinner, I said to him. You just come, all the boys know, as soon as they see you, that to go down and get something to eat for you. You don't have to say anything. We didn't want him asking.
Yeah.
I just said, eventually I got to know him, ask him, look, how come you don't get any
benefit?
I said, do you get benefit? He says, no. His story was pretty tragic. One only child, mother and father passed away. Uncle sold the place, left him on the streets.
Okay.
But in saying that, I thought that he'd at least get, because he worked 30 years for council.
Oh, yeah, retirement.
So I thought he would have been settled. Didn't get no Centrelink because he had no address.
Yeah.
Oh, no address.
Yeah, okay.
No payment.
Yeah,
of
course.
I said, you're kidding me, mate. So I took him in myself because I didn't understand. We had people that worked. There's rules. He didn't comply with the rules.
Of course, and now, but you almost don't comply with the rules. So, like, as you take him in, like, the rules change again because now there's 2 households in one. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to say that. Like, you need to tell the government that you have him living there. Everything needs to change.
To try to help him,
just to help one person.
So I said to him, they said he needs a place. I said, okay, well, if I get him a place, he needs to get paid. Well, he needs a place first. I said, well, he needs to get payment so he can get a place. So how does it work?
It's a trap.
So I turned around. We paid for a place for 6 months. We got him an address. He stayed with an old couple in the granny flat. He used to take their stuff. He was 64. They were like 84. And he used to.
So he was the young cat there.
He was the young cat there. But you know what? He died there. He died there. About a year and a half after that, that's where he rested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at least
he got the peace.
That year and a half, man, he got to live normal again.
Yeah.
And when I say normal, look, what is normal? But at least he got a roof over his head.
Over his head.
He wasn't sitting there. Because, the homeless guys don't just have to put up with the cold, the rain, the shelter, the heat. So the party goers,
the abuse,
the people going past, the names, they get called just for being there.
Yeah.
Get out of the way, mate. You know what it's like? You're sleeping somewhere, somebody comes up, get out of here, mate.
Man, but I've even seen it virally on the like on the net where like it's a thing, get drunk and beat up homeless people, or some people around the world with young teens, they're just bashing homeless people for fun, and it's like I think they'd have to worry about the dangers as a homeless person would be ridiculous.
Listen, we give them a sleeping bag to keep them out of the cold, but in one way, it leaves them vulnerable, eh? You think about it. You're strapped up on the corner of the street, wrapped up in the sleeping bag.
Yeah.
You can't move fast enough to get away from danger.
Yeah, for sure.
And when it rains, there's more rats in the city than anything else.
Yeah, I know, man. I've seen that, yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So they've got the cold, the rain. The whole setup itself is probably one of the hardest things to, I think personally for myself, is I've experienced it. I've lived on the streets. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've helped these people get on their feet, and unfortunately there's not enough out there resources, because even if they do get on the benefits, you get $440 a fortnight.
It's minimal, yeah.
Okay, $440 a fortnight. Sure. Yeah, go and find a 1-bedroom studio apartment anywhere for less than $400.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
In the city, no.
So you can't afford to live. If you want to share the accommodation, you got to jump in with in one room, like the backpackers hostel. Right. You got 4 guys that might be taking drugs, or might not be, or might be mentally unstable. You got to sleep with these people. You got to share the same shower.
You get robbed and all that.
I said, do you think that's safer? It's like you can't win. So you end up either on the streets trying to survive, hide out so nobody sees you, and really, most of them try to be a shadow. Most of them just try to not exist.
Not be seen. Yeah.
So we're here, but
we're not.
You don't see us. So I just want to get through the next day. Yeah. And there's a lot more to it. Do you guys have to go on a song?
No. Depends.
Finish what you were just saying.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Because what people don't realise is they think that the homeless want to be homeless. They just think, they're just because there's food out there and this. Let me tell you something. Just to clarify how much fun it is. If you woke up in the morning and you're sleeping, say, in Martin Place, you got to go down to Central Station to get some breakfast, right? So you got to get up, quickly make your way across, whether it's raining or not raining, whether it's cold or not cold, with all your backpacks and all your stuff, making sure that you get to that breakfast. If you miss that breakfast, you've got to go all the way to the cross to go and try to get some sort of food. And if you can't get anything there, then you've got to come your way all the way back and wait till the evening till someone comes up and brings you tea and biscuits, and hopefully somebody's going to put dinner on the table. Now, if you picture your whole day, you start here, you do a whole lap of the whole entire city chasing food.
Yeah.
Now, you tell me that's the way to live.
And you're always hungry walking. You're walking and you're going to get hungry just to get to the next one.
And the worst thing is, honestly, you wonder why they smell. You wonder why they're
dirty.
They don't get a chance to even have showers, because if they take time to go and find this place, say they've got to go here to have a shower, they've got to go over here now to get breakfast.
Yeah.
I better get something to eat, but then they come back and they find out they've missed
the shower.
You know what I mean? So.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Radio Skid Row, and you're listening to Good Smoke. We're going to go to a few songs, and then we're going to get deeper into the conversation of what's happening in Sydney and basically around the world with homelessness. And it's not everything that we think it is. So stay tuned. It's 88.9. This one here is called Clarity. It's by Andy Mineo, and hopefully you guys will love it. It's 88.9 Radio Skid Row. It's Radio Skid Row 88.9, and you're listening to Good Smoke. Remember that number, 95509552. Also radioskidrow.com. radioskidrow.org and goodsmoke.com.au. If you just tuned in, we've been speaking to the man, the CEO of the S.W.A.G family, the founder. If you just tuned in, we're talking about the homeless on the street and what's some of the misconceptions that we take when we see homeless people, and some things to keep in mind when, if you're a business person in the middle of the city, CBD, if you're just walking past, some things that you keep in mind while you're walking, like not all homeless people are homeless because of drugs or because of alcohol. Maybe it's just, abuse of a home, or they just got kicked out of home.
There's so many variables.
There's so many different things that happen with this. So Rick Herrera has joined us from S.W.A.G family, and he's sharing the stories that's happened on the street and the things that he's been through while he's been helping the homeless as well. How are you, Rick? Are you enjoying it?
Good, awesome, mate. I enjoy being on the show. You guys are amazing, and thanks for listening as well. Because as we continue our journey on homelessness, it's a never-ending battle. To be honest with you, it's bigger than what we anticipated. When I first started off, I think they estimated about 110,000 Australians are homeless.
Okay.
Like when I first started 8 years ago, and the figures have gone down to 190,000 people that are homeless. But then the figures just came in bigger for people that are couch surfing.
Yeah.
So that means you technically don't have a house. You're sleeping on a lounge or a friend's lounge. And, the brother Celestia over here, now, you'll see on a lot of my videos on Facebook, we do a lot of videos, and people ask, what do we do so many videos? I've got videos to encourage, I've got videos to open your eyes, to see what's actually happening out there. But more than anything, I believe that for people to be a part of something, they have to feel a part of it. So, it's easy for us to go and donate to different charities and think, I hope it gets there. But when we do the videos, if you donate, say, 10 sleeping bags, thank you, Celeste. Thank you very much.
Bless you.
I hope you all got that. That was Celeste. Anyway, and the thing is, sorry, it cracks me up, this one. But the thing is, you get to see where it goes. When you actually see it reaching an elderly person on the video, or you see it, you know that you played a part in that. You played a part in that seed. You know what I mean? So obviously, we try to keep everything transparent, okay? But we don't hide anything as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So what you'll see them sleeping on the street. You'll see the people.
No filter.
There's no filter. So whatever happens at that time, you'll hear them conversing the way they converse. There's no rehearsal coming up. Hey, listen, guys, I'm going to give you a snack pack. You look up, smile at me, give me a hug, make it look good.
Yeah.
Hey, man, honestly, if you have a look for yourself, you'll see the genuine looks on their faces they light up when they see us because we receive them where they're at. And I think that's the hardest part, you know. The outcast, like looking at it from a biblical term, and you see it in different countries too, they call it the outcast, the forgotten ones, the ones that don't fit into society, as we call it, right?
The mold that we have of
society. Yeah, so we picture society as working class, you know, get there, you know, family-based, party, contributing to society, right? These guys eat, these guys drink, these guys do the same thing. But because they don't fit or look in the way we expect them, they get judged. Now, my 10-year-old son shared something the other day on the videos, you know, saying that, you know, it's sad. We just assume, he said, that all these people are on drugs, that, you know, that they're drinking, that they're not well. But he said, I had an amazing conversation, he goes, with this man. Yeah? And he just lit up. And I had to record it and put it out there because I wanted people to understand if a 10-year-old boy, a 7-year-old kid, my two boys, if they can see something that we can't see, what are we missing? And the big key, I think, for any of us to understand is that your eyes will only see what your heart allowed to see. So if you're a parent and you're constantly telling your kids, they're bums, they're no good, this race is no good, this person's no good, you feed into that person's spirit and mindset. By the time they become adults, they are a reflection of you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
I picture even not on purpose at times. You know, I've encountered myself at times where I felt like, and this was early on, where I'd have to start checking things in my own life because I realized, wait a sec, am I holding on grudges that my dad had? And unknowingly so, like, you know what I mean? Just how I viewed certain people and what I thought was lazy and what I thought, like, all these negative terms were defined by how I was, like, by my parents' views of these things initially.
100%. You know, listen, if your dad liked the Broncos and you didn't, but go the Broncos. Why? Because you want to make dad happy, right?
It's such a simple.
It's true. It's a ripple effect.
That's right.
So the thing is, what we don't realise, and this is where parents have to start understanding the damage that they can cause without knowing it. Okay, if every day I say you're my son, and I say to you, just say you're my foster kid. To begin with, I just want to give you an idea of what some of the, and I'm not making excuses here. Let me tell you, we make choices and we make decisions as adults that lead us this way. But you got to understand what gets a person to that place. Okay,
it's not.
Okay, and I'll relate back to dream killers in a sec because I think it's very important to understand about this. So, I say to you, you get up in the morning, you didn't do your bed, man, but you say I did. You didn't do it good enough. Why didn't you put the pillow over? Pick the pillow up. Turn around this. You go and do your shoelace. You can't go to school like that. Why didn't you make your lunch? Now, you don't realise all day, you've only been with me like probably 10 minutes in the morning.
Yeah.
I've just given you 5 or 6 negative comments that are fed into your spirit. Yeah. By the time your day has gone, you might have sat at school, you forgot to have breakfast. Now you're hungry, you agitate. Teacher starts saying, look, you're naughty. Why can't you just listen like everybody else, man?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Well, are you okay?
Yeah.
So bit by bit, then the kid next to you says, oh, look, man. Oh, look at him. He's weirdo, man. He hasn't even got a family, man.
Yeah.
So all these things start coming at you. By the time you get home, picture 25, 30 negative statements that all you could think about.
And you're lowballing there because the negative, there's a lot more. There's a lot more, yeah.
And you times that by 7 days.
Yes.
And then you time that by 365 days. And you timed it by 18 years.
It's true, man, because like I can still remember stuff from like when I'm in...
They're the things we hold the most.
What is it? Year 4, year 5, someone sent something to me and it's still like replaying in my head. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like I'll be working, doing something and 1 second I'll catch myself like thinking about something happened 20 years ago. And the mind, if you don't have a fence around your mind... you're going to let anything in and it can grow something that you don't even want. You know what I mean?
It's sometimes non-intentional. As parents, obviously you don't want to feed your kid to feel bad about themselves.
Yeah.
But you don't realise that you trying to help them may not be the right help.
That's right.
Remember this, being right doesn't make you right. Okay? And I can tell you, if I turned around and said to you, you say to me, listen, this was written by this author. And I said to you, but I remember the guy that was speaking at this. You said, but this is the author. And we get into a confrontation. And you've now just proven to me that I'm not right. Now, I now feel dumber.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not right. Rather than you explain it in love, or rather you share something, you've just overpowered me with this thing saying that I'm no good. I can't even get the author right. How am I going to turn around and sort of walk out there and feel like I'm smart enough if I can't get something so simple right?
And so some people might hear this and go, oh, man, that's just a weak-minded person. But when that's been life for a long time, eventually that strength is very weak. Like now, one little comment feels like a boulder, right?
Listen, glass. You keep
Flicking at us.
flicking little pebbles at it. You keep flicking it, sometimes bounce off, but every time you start to chip away at that glass, eventually it shatters.
It weakens,
Every one of us has that, I guess, that shield of glass that gets peeked at. And you can build it with positive things that come into your life, or if you're getting more negative. You know, they say, which dog are you going to feed them, mate? There's a black dog and a white dog. Yeah, the one you feed the most will grow the most. So if you're constantly around negativity, that's the part that will reflect out you. If you're constantly around people that are positive, that's what's going to come out of you. So with my kids, from day one, they come back. Oh, Dad, I got a D in my report. Hey, that's awesome. Did you do your best? Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you, son.
Yeah.
But it's not an A. Hey, listen, we can aim for that. If you want help, I'll help you aim for that. But don't push for that. Do it at your own pace. Do it at your own style. Don't sit there and compare people with somebody else or some kid. Oh, look at this kid with this kid. All my kids have got different characters. One desires more hugging. One desires more fist pumps. One desires more rapping. One desires more laughing. One desires a bit more music. So everyone's got something that they...
Preference.
The preference. So you got to relate. Not every single person that you see on the streets is the same.
Yeah. I feel like it's really easy for us to judge like what we see in the present, not realizing that this is still process. Like there's still this person's still in the process of getting to where they were. Like, so we hear a bunch of CEOs talk about, oh, you know, I never went to college, I never did this, I hustled, I went bankrupt twice, and then they finally get to the point. But because we see him up there, we don't distinguish him from the guy that's on his journey that is homeless right now. You know what I mean? That's broken.
That's exactly right. You see him up here, but you don't want to see what he went through to get there.
Yeah.
See, nobody wants to see the hard work. You see a fighter in the ring, but you don't see the hours of training that goes on outside, right?
But so sometimes we look at that and think like, well, that's 1 + 1 = 2. He's only going to end up whatever. But like, there's still things happening in that person's life. So you're looking at your kid and he's coming with a D, and some parents might think like, well, that means if he keeps going down that route, he doesn't go to college. But in your mind is like, I'd rather a healthy son that is knows who he is in his identity and isn't easily bombarded by negativity around him. So I want a strong kid as much as a kid that's accomplished all these things and is super brittle to any sort of offense or critique.
Offense. Well, the thing is, just say we've got a football team here. Just say you're quick, but just say you're not as quick. Let's say you're not as quick, but you can move the ball around. He can't move the ball around, but if you can get the ball to him, he's going to score.
Fast,
yeah.
You use the gifts you got in front of you, right?
Nice.
So nurture the gifts. So look, my daughter loves to sing. Taylor loves like sports. So I encourage that part of her. The learning part was a little bit harder. Okay, it was, and it wasn't until later on that we found out it's a little bit dyslexic in certain areas.
Yeah.
But We didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I never pointed it out. I just thought to myself, okay, you know what? We'll look at what she's good at and we'll work on that.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the other one likes to read more. The other one likes to dance. You know?
For sure.
Everyone's got gifts. And the thing is, when we see these guys on the streets, you know, when you watch the videos, you'll see me going through tunnels, the highways, the byways. It doesn't matter where I go. Wherever I know that there's somebody going to be sleeping, right? But when I approach them, most of them that are out there know me by name or know me by the gentleness that I approach them. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Can I help you with something? You know, I just shared this the other day. I got a family at the motel at the moment that we put in the motel. I didn't know the family, young family, 3 kids, got a 2-month-old baby, a 2-year-old baby, and a 3-year-old. Not my problem. I didn't raise them. I didn't bring them into this life, right? It's not my problem. But I hear about a family that's been put in this accommodation for a night, and they've got no nappies for the baby, got no food. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I said, where are they? So we go and meet this family. And some of my volunteers were there. Now, 2 of my volunteers broke out crying. They couldn't. They were devastated. It was so hard for. And trust me, man, you see the tears I've cried in them streets. Doesn't matter how tough you are out here, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I spent years fighting. Just so you get a little indication. I used to have an ultimate fighting school as well. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time on the streets fighting in there. Yeah, the box, kickball, martial arts.
I was gonna say you are the Sylvester Stallone of Australia, man.
Well,
you got the whole. Sylvester Rocky Balboa #1. That's who you are.
What movie? So what did you write? Creed?
You're Adrian, you gotta say do, you know.
No, but that, you know, the hard knock from the bottom up. You know, like he's the people's people. You know what I mean? Like he champions. Like when I see you on the videos, the way people react to you, the way people come up to you, like it's more. It's not a No, and not to take away from St. Vincent de Paul, but it's not. There's no connection between those guys. Where you.
That's the one thing that I set out to do when I hit the streets. These people are not my clients. These people, and they benefit to me financially.
They're not a project either. Like
they're not. They're not a project. They're not. Like, I haven't got a target of reaching. I'm going to reach 50.
Yeah, you're not going to meet a quota.
If I only talk to one person. Man, to me it matters as much as reaching 100,000 people.
Yeah.
But whatever is in front of me, I'm not going to turn away if it's in my power to help them. You know what I'm saying? So how do I do that? I get a family, I find out that they got nowhere to go, the little kids were sick, the baby's newborn. Within an hour we had supplies already for that family. That's the first thing. Then we find out that they got nowhere to go. They've breached their requirements for housing, which is criteria, because 2 of the kids were in hospital, so the father had to stay with them too, while the mother was in hospital giving birth to the other one, right? So she's here, he's here. How can they go and meet their requirements?
Yeah.
So they breach it, right? You think there'd be any compassion there?
No.
Oh, sorry, you didn't meet the criteria.
Yeah, that's right.
So what happens now? I said to them, what happens now? They gave them this house. The mould was about 2 inches high, if you look at the picture.
Is that the photo? Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
2 inches high. In the bathroom.
Yeah.
The mould. We're talking about mould.
If the kids
There's a newborn baby,
that's
man,
right, yeah.
in a place that hadn't had its immunisation because it was sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're going to put this. There's a lounge split in half. The lounge was split in half. Now, if a 2-year-old gets stuck in there and suffocates.
Yeah.
So when I contacted housing, you know what they said? It was
up to standard,
suitable for living. That's what they called acceptable living conditions. And I thought to myself, you know what? I couldn't put them through that. So I turned around and said, listen, let me do what I can do. So I put a post on Facebook. I said, guys, listen, I got a family, 3 kids that need a few nights off the street. We got the motel room. It's at 160 a night for 120 a night. The family room. So somebody put their hand up, so they cover a day, another couple of days. So Before you know it, we had like 6 nights, I think, covered. So took them out there. Now we're trying to find somewhere for them, right?
Permanent, yeah.
So it's a mission. People put their hand. You know what breaks my heart? Don't say you're going to do something in life if you're not prepared to do it. Don't look at the hard work that's involved too. You got to think before you say something. Like you guys started this show, for example. No one says it's going to be easy.
No.
You got to make it work. You got to get out there. You got to set your mind at no matter what happens. I'm going to rock up. I'm going to give my best, and I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, and whatever the outcome, at least I know I did my best. I tried. And when I see somebody, when I say to someone, I'm going to help them, I help them as far as I can. And we got to the point where we ended up stuck, and people would put their hands up and said that they were going to take this family, like the mother and the 3 kids, while the father was looking for permanent accommodation. And then, just as we were going to sort of move them over, they got to meet the family, they got to meet the kids. They pulled out after. So sorry, I can't.
And so that would have been devastating for the family, like. Thinking.
Well, the thing is, I've got to break the news to them and tell them that I've got nowhere for them, right? And then, so what do? I have to keep them in accommodation, so I get into debt. I get into debt trying to make sure that I won't put them straight back out.
On the street, yeah.
If I could do something. So it makes it hard, because you can't help but get close to people. Okay, there's a difference with different services. I'll tell you, because years ago when I was younger, I volunteered for a few places, and they said don't touch, don't shake hands, this and that. There's a lot of things you couldn't do, right? No hugging, this, and that's fair enough. But let me tell you something about touch. When you put your hand on someone's shoulder and say, "Man, it'll get better," just that sense of energy that comes through that love.
Yeah, human contact.
Contact, right?
100%.
So
been proven.
So yeah, it's true, 100%. Look, I tell you something. You show people that they matter. The only way to do that is to actually walk with them, right? And the more I see on the streets, the more I see that there are a lot more. Like now, there's a lot more younger generation, but there's a lot more older as well. There used to be an age you could pick. You could pick old, yeah. You get out there, there's 60-year-old ladies.
Wow.
Sleeping on the street.
Grandmas and stuff like that.
Really? See, how's that possible? Even if they're not well mentally, why are they on the streets? Why haven't we got facilities to accommodate these people? They're still human. Just because they're going to cost somebody something, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
people don't want to make the sacrifice.
For sure.
Everything costs.
Yeah.
Everything costs you something.
I was going to ask, there was a post that you had from, I think it was a company in Rosebery or Mascot. They gave you the beanies, the Go Electric, is it electronic or electrical?
Electrical.
There's a lot of good company, like it's not all gloom and doom. Like there's a lot of companies out there, like if they can't put their feet on the ground and help, they'll help.
100%.
And you've had that. Can you share those things? Like, and maybe someone out there is listening that has something that they can give.
Yeah, 100%.
And even I was just curious about other people doing what you're doing, because it's a big task, man. And thankfully you're not the only one out there, you know, which is good as well.
Well, look,
there's heaps out there, but
Look, there are people out there like Lance Presley, good mate of mine, the mayor of Tent City, they called him in newspaper, when I had the tents and that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember that guy, yeah.
I supplied the tents. He put them up. I said, man, good luck. I remember saying that, like I didn't know what he was up to. But the thing is, when I see people are genuinely trying to make a difference, I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, look, some of the services there are in the million zone and some are in nothing zone, but just people zone. But the people zone deliver the best. I can tell you now, the ones you see that are
organised,
like putting on the big dinners, putting on other people that come out that they themselves have nothing.
Yeah.
They themselves are struggling, but they can bring the best to the table. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I try to deliver. Like the companies that come out. we've had some nice. A mate of mine owns Big Daddy's now, which is the
American
diner and that.
Yeah, there was one in Newtown.
In Newtown. Big Daddy's. Yeah. And it was Memphis Wings before that. And I remember when the brother said to me, "Listen," he says, "Rick, how can I help you?" Yeah, like in a good way, yeah. And he was helping out with sausages and stuff. I said, "Do me a favour. You don't open on a Sunday night, right? What if you open on a Sunday night for me and I'll bring a busload of homeless guys for dinner?" He goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, listen, I give invitations so that because I can only fit 55 people on the bus. The ones that can't make it, we'll pay for their train tickets and they can get to Glenfield Station, whatever it was at the time, and we'll pick them up, take them there. But we'll surprise them. At the end of it, we'll give them accommodation, like we'll give them somewhere to sleep, right?" And he goes, "Okay." So we did that. And we bring busloads. And we did that, like, one stage over here. I'd go in the morning to let everyone know, "Hey, don't forget, we've got dinner tonight. We're going to take you out. Want to surprise you." So the amount of times, it's people like that, but that make it. I mean, the hard yards I got to do out there. I got to get out there. Got to
the
see
front lines, man. Yeah.
It's not that easy, but I can tell you, I can't do anything with. See, if I can reach 100 people, together we can reach thousands of people, right? So one person can make that ripple effect, but it's that ripple effect that
continues on.
That continues on. So I tell people, together we can make a difference. That's always been my thing. Together we can make a difference. So one stage or another, you're going to have a situation come up, whether you're not financially in hardship or whether you could have the family that's in a perfect situation, like with assets and material, but there could be something you struggle with where you're going to need a hand. And you're going to want to know somebody's going to be there to help you out. And for us, when they see us, it's a lifeline, yeah?
That's right.
And like I said the other day, most people, the first question that people ask is, to me, which I started to get really, how do they get like that? Why haven't they got a job? Why hasn't the guy got a job? Why hasn't he done this? Why? And I thought to myself, if I was in the middle of the ocean and I was drowning,
how'd you get like that?
If I was in the middle of the thing, wouldn't I rather you turn around and say, "Hey, bro,
let me help you out.
Let me get you out," and then ask you, how'd you end up like that, man? Or if I was and you asked me, "How'd you get there?" I'm gonna be like, "Throw me the life jacket, man."
Hurry up.
What's going on with you?
You waste my time. Go if you.
Hey, bro, just one more. Say, I can see a shark coming your way. Just before I pull you out.
Why did you do?
Were you good to your parents?
Yeah.
The thing is, people sometimes just need pull them up, talk to them, and get to know their stories. They're only human, man. My kids went. And I'll share this because I think it's important to get a picture. My Orlando had a parent-teacher night where you come into the school and all the kids talk about things, what they want to do when they get older and stuff. And I listened to all the kids in the class. And the ladies, the girls, "Oh, I want to be a dancer, I want to be a singer, I want to be tennis. The boy, I want to be a footy player or a boxer. I would build it like my dad." Everyone had something to say.
Yeah.
Not one single person got up and said, "I want to end up on a park bench.
Yeah.
I want to end up with an addiction that's going to take my life." Not one of them turned around and said, "I want to end up getting looked at."
Yeah, that's eye-opening.
Okay? And I remember sitting there and I thought to myself, somewhere along the line, their dreams were taken away. Somewhere along the line, you're going to get in your life, in my life, what I call dream killers come in. That means they'll come in and they'll take any idea that you have and tell you everything that can go wrong before you can even step into that dream. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
So you turn around and say, "I want to do this radio station." Hey, you realise what's involved? You've got to have something that people are interested in. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. Before you know it, they've already put doubt in your head. So failure before you even step into it.
Just set.
And
the mindset failed before you get in there.
It's so sad. And the way I look at it, I could imagine what would have happened along the way. I had a lot of things said to me growing up, but the problem is I got a strong mind. I got a strong will. I've always looked at things different. I've never been one to follow the crowd. So when I see people, say there were 5 guys want to go and do something here, I say, listen, man, no, this kid's sitting by himself. Let's go and pick him up. You know what I mean? Let's go and pick him up. So the thing with me is I was already designed different. God had a different plan for me. But everybody at one stage or another need to see that somebody's going to come alongside you and they're going to say to you, man, you know what? I love you, man. You're my bro, man. But inside, they're going to be set to destroy everything that you set out to do. Because if you think about it, you got a best mate. You turn around and fall in love. He knows now, my man's gone. I don't have a best mate anymore because he's going to be hanging out with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So he started to point out all the things wrong about her.
All the flaws. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, you know what? I saw her talking to this fella. What sort of girl's that? So start putting all these things in your head. So you start to look at her to point, so you end up back with him. Remember, you have a plan to do something, and you know that it's something that God's putting out. You go and do it the best you can. Go for it. Failure's not falling, man. Failure's not getting back up.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's right, man. You know, I just wanted to listen. Let's go to a song. I'm gonna play one song, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna get you. I heard you're a bit of a singer as well. You brought your guitar along, and
I'll make a little bit of noise.
A little bit of noise, eh?
Some joyful noise.
Yeah. So listen, where can we check your? One more question before we get to a break.
Yeah.
Just 2 sentences that or 3 sentences say, to people that are listening. Yeah. What's some things they can keep in their mind while they're walking down the street? What's some things they can? What would you say to someone that despises the homeless or doesn't see it clearly?
Look, I would say this. Stop to see what somebody's going through. Put yourself in their shoes first. So when you see somebody that's at the lowest point, put yourself in their shoes. Just picture what it would be like if that was you. Just for that split second. And, see if you have a heart of compassion for it, But like I said, check our videos on S.W.A.G Family Sydney.
Yep. You have an Instagram, Twitter?
Well, all my videos come on Rick Herrera because I do all my live videos on Rick Herrera. Yeah. And then I just share it. Only because I didn't realise I could go live on my actual page till later.
Yeah. So when you go live on Facebook, do you?
Yeah, or Facebook page. All my live videos are on Rick Herrera. Now, you can still follow. I can't add any more because Facebook has a limit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On my personal, on the S.W.A.G Family page, you can like the page. You can follow, and you can see everything as well.
What's happening, yeah.
But if you want to send messages, you can send messages. If you've got queries, inquiries, you want to find out how to get involved. Yeah. What can you and your company do? What can you and your friends get together? Yeah, you can get together, do snack packs, sleeping bags. Everybody can do something.
Do you take volunteers to come down if they help you out?
I tell everybody when they ask me, how do I get involved? I say, come out and see what we do.
Yeah, help out, yeah.
Nothing but, look, it's easier. I even tell people before they try to offer us and help us, I say, come and see what we do first and then see if you still want to help.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Radio Skid Row. You've been listening to Good Smoke. We're going to go to a song now. This one's called Dreams by Gabriella. It's an old one back from the 80s, I think it is, or 90s. And, it's fitting to what you just said, the dream killers out there. If you have dreams, go for it. This is the Good Smoke. You listen to Radio Skid Row. We'll be back with Rick Herrera doing some noise. It's Radio Skid Row 88.9, and you've been listening to Good Smoke. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? If you just tuned in, we've been talking to Rick Herrera, CEO of S.W.A.G Family, helps the homeless and also raises 4 children. Just been through a hard life. And now we're going to get him to sing. He's got a bit of a voice on him. If you guys haven't checked him out on Facebook yet, you're going to check it out live right now. What are we singing today, man?
Well, I just thought I'd run through this song I heard years ago. It sort of relates to what we do. It just I just picture when people cry out, when people at the lowest point, you know, just to look at it from somebody else's point, you know. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please help me? Help me if you can, I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please help me? When I was younger, so much younger than today, never needed anybody's help in any way. And now these days are gone, I'm not so self-assured. Now I find I changed my mind, opened up the door. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please help me? So, hey.
Man, you can hear the pain in that voice, man. You can hear the depths in it, man.
Well, you know, I just picture what it's like from someone else looking up, asking for help. You know, we all get times.
It's all right, yeah, keep going.
Hey, look, to me, it's just something that I find everybody has a story to tell, you know. And there's a yeah. I'm just looking at this song that me and my daughter sing. It's more of a but something for us. Just listen to this. It always reminds me of what it'd be like, you know. Yeah, I guess in God's arms, you know. Here I am waiting, abide in me, I pray. Here I am longing for you. Hide me in your love, bring me to my knees. May I know Jesus more and more. Come live in me all my life. Take over. Come breathe in me, and and I will ride on eagle's wing. That was Brother Simon passed away. One of our homeless friends passed away 2 days ago. And he actually, the hardest thing is, this guy was on the streets for probably years before I even bumped into him. And he got really, really, really sick. And he ended up losing his legs through gangrene. And then I find out that he committed suicide just 2 days ago. Now, I'd like to think that he'd been sheltered on eagle's wings, I guess. You know, there's something that we forgot to speak about tonight, but, you know, our suicide rate has increased far beyond what you can imagine. You know, we've got nearly 20 men a day, teenagers, adults, that have just given up. They're just giving up. They can't take anymore. It's just, life's too hard. So, you know, when you look around, you think to yourself, we've got epidemics. You know, we've got ice epidemic, we've got mental health epidemics. We've got over 1 million Australians on anxiety prescriptions. We've got 2 million.
Sounds like we've got an epidemic of epidemics.
We have. We've got more people on antidepressants than ever before. Yeah, we've got people that just are struggling to get through life. Now, if I leave anything positive tonight, I'll leave hope. I'll leave hope because I feel that for me personally, my walk and my faith in God is what sustained me, is what kept me going. Now, I know everyone's got different beliefs and different ways of thinking. And, you know, whatever gets you through life, praise God. But for me, I can't deny the fact that there's something about serving one another that that goes beyond reward. You know, it's like we've missed something along the way. And I just want to encourage you, you know, if you're going through times of struggle, if you're going through times where you just feel like giving up, if you've thought about doing something to yourself, some self-harm, or whether you thought about just taking off and giving up in totally, I just want to just pray for you and believe that that God will just embrace you right where you are. I just want to thank you, Lord, for everybody out there listening today. I just pray, Lord, that everyone that heard a little bit of what was said today feel your love, your arms embracing them right now. Lord, I pray that you meet them where they're at. We're not meant to be perfect. We're not meant to be this perfect person that the world wants us to be. You take us broken. You take us wounded. You embrace us at our lowest point, and in our weakness you become our strength. So I pray for everybody out there, whatever you're going through, this is not about placing judgment. This is not about saying that you're not fit to walk. God came for you. He didn't make a mistake. Every one of us has a purpose here in life. Amen. And for me, in Jesus' name, I pray a massive blessing over you. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Radio Skid Row. We've got like 4 minutes left. Do you want to sing us out with a song, man, and we'll sign it off for the night?
Just for anyone listening as well, that's we have Ricky Herrera on the show from S.W.A.G Family Sydney. So if you haven't got a chance, make sure you check out on their Facebook. They're updating their website at the moment, but our special guest.
Yeah, contact us on Facebook too if you want to get through to him, if you can't get through to any of his social medias as well. For
sure, just drop a little line for us on our Good Smoke Facebook page, our website, our Insta, our Twitter. We actually have a LinkedIn now. Woo, woo, woo. Shouts out to LinkedIn. Yeah. But on that somber note, our special guest, Ricky Herrera from S.W.A.G Family Sydney.
Sing us out, man, and I'll cut it off
Sweet as.
And we'll go from there.
We'll sing it out. This song me and my daughter wrote at a place where father and daughter were going through struggles. But it's she's not here with me today because she's the baby and that.
What's her name?
Chantel Herrera.
Shout out to Chantel if you're listening, and congratulations on the little one as well.
Amen, amen. Little Andalina.
Andalina, beautiful name.
Here I am. Here I am. Waiting for you. Waiting for you. Here I am. Here I am. Waiting for you. Waiting for you. Here I am. You came, gave me something to adore. You came, gave me life forevermore. You said, never leave me on my own. You came, took the world as you came, left me in awe. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky, you came to give me life. You came to give me life. You came, took the weight off my shoulders. You came, said you come back again.
It's Radio Skid Row 88.9. That's for us. That's us for this Tuesday. We'll be here next Tuesday. Thank you so much, Ricky. Or Rick. I like to call you Ricky.
Brother.
I feel like that's a better, like,
a man.
the fighter
Rocky,
name, you know?
Adrian, I just want to say everyone. I want to thank you all. I just want to say, Adrian, you did it, Adrian.
Thank you so much for today, ladies and gentlemen. Check us out on Facebook and on radioskidrow.org. And we got the Ghana show next. This is Good Smoke, and we're here next Tuesday, 6 to 8. Anything else, Brennan?
No, just check out. We got a bunch of shows on Radio Skid Row all the way from the morning to the evening. If you like Democracy Now, check it up. We're playing it on Radio Skid Row all the time. And plus, if you're from a different background, most likely Radio Skid Row has a show for you in your native tongue. So check it out.
Radio Skid Row 88.9. You've been listening to Good Smoke.